Walter Chapman.
I don't know the guy.
That you used his seat at the ballet? And furthermore, you identified yourself as Walter Chapman to the bellman at the Elliston Hotel and were seen coming out of his, your room at the hotel.
It's a coincidence.
Who do you work for, McGraw?
Nobody.
Freelance, sir, just as you suspected.
Now, perhaps
Listen,
if you
McGraw,
explained all...
I don't care who you are or what name you go by, but the United States government is not, I repeat, is not cutting any deals with extortionists.
Well, tell that to the Ayatollah.
We want those tapes.
Tapes? What tapes?
The Devereaux tapes, Mrs. McGinnis.
Devereaux?
Devereaux? As in Blake Devereaux? You mean Mr. Red, White, and Blue, Captain Galahad, Boston's Man of the Year, Blake Devereaux?
You know it is.
Yeah, well, tell it to her.
Yes, tell me, Mr. Hughes, what about Blake Devereaux?
What I have to say, Mrs. McGinnis, is in the strictest confidence and mustn't go beyond the confines of this room. We have reason to believe that Devereaux is mixed up in a multi-million-dollar black market scheme that seriously damages the defense posture of this country.
Blake Devereaux?
Yeah, I'd get his name off my invite list.
Oh, we also believe that Mr. McGraw, posing as Walter Chapman, has conducted an electronic surveillance to tape incriminating evidence against Devereaux.
Harry?
Oh, come on, McGinnis, you too?
Our dossier on Mr. McGraw indicates that this is exactly the kind of thing he'd be involved with. Now, his investigator's license has been suspended 7 times, going on 8.
Now, just a moment, Mr. Eckstein. If you are accusing Mr. McGraw of treason, you'd better have the evidence to back it up.
Mrs. McGinnis, for all we know, Mr. McGraw here is the model of patriotism, but it's obvious we've stumbled into some kind of a shakedown. Mr. McGraw, we are not interested in prosecuting you, but there is a shipment of plutonium on its way out of this country in the next 24 hours, and we've got to know exactly where and when.
Listen, pal, if I could help you, I would.
Let's take him in.
If you do, you'd better show me a warrant.
As I said, Mr. McGraw, we don't want you. We want Devereaux. I'll give you 24 hours to come up with those tapes. Because if that shipment of plutonium leaves this country, you can look forward to spending the rest of your days in Spandau with Rudolf Hess. Call me. Next time.
Blake Devereaux. Oh, Harry, I'm so sorry.
You should be. Wasn't my idea to go to the ballet.
Colonel Faisal has grown testy, and he's presented me with an ultimatum. The plutonium must go on as scheduled, or I'll receive a very nasty visit from some of his representatives. I needn't tell you what that means. We must kill Chapman to assure that he doesn't interfere.
Yeah, well, what about the tapes?
Since I've decided to leave the country permanently after our final shipment, I shall let the tapes fall where they may. Just make certain that Chapman is dealt with.
What do you mean you got nothing?
Nothing, Harry. 0.
No pictures? Or what about a description?
I had Walter Chapman paged a dozen times. He never answered the page. I tried the hostess in the coffee shop, the maitre d' in the fancy restaurant. Wherever he eats, it isn't here.
What about the bell captain, the barber shop?
They don't know him.
I gotta get back in that room.
Harry?
Listen, hot-footed back to the office. Get anything you can on this Chapman guy. Run a credit check on him, something. You know the scam.
I ought to by now. And Harry, don't get in any trouble.
Trouble? Me? Okay, Mrs. Chapman, where's your husband?
But the lady's name was not Chapman. It was Pierce. Madeline Pierce of Schenectady, New York.
Well, hey, what's the difference? I mean, how was I supposed to know this scuzzball checked out?
You should have asked. Her husband happens to be Dr. Richard Pierce, also of Schenectady, New York.
Well, that figures.
Dr. Pierce was here in Boston scouting some of our better hotels and Boston Garden.
No kidding.
In order to organize a chiropodist convention, which will now take place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Well, it should, considering the security in that hotel.
Harry.
The mayor called the commissioner. The commissioner called the district attorney. And the district attorney called me. And he said, Tyler, I understand you know this gentleman. I, of course, denied it.
Tyler, since the lady is not pressing charges, may I assume that Harry is free to leave?
Leave? Leave? This man is a menace, Eleanor. I have spent the entire morning reviewing his activities over the last 24 hours. Harry, you've outdone yourself. Abducted by thugs hired by Blake Devereaux?
It happens to be true.
Oh? And how do we know this?
I'm not at liberty to tell you.
Oh, I see. Well, now, this is interesting here. It says you were drugged.
Some kind of truth serum. Sodium pentothal, right?
The blood test was rather inconclusive about that. Besides, who would want to inject you with sodium pentothal? You don't know anything. Laying waste to an antique shop. Reckless endangerment.
Tyler, there is a logical explanation for all this.
I might even be able to guess what it could be. Bookie troubles, McGraw? Loan sharks? Or is this entire mess the result of some irate husband who caught you sticking your hand into his cookie jar? Now, you're not going to walk on this one, McGraw. I am going to find a nice, cozy little cell with a nice, hard mattress where you can spend the next few days contemplating the folly of your lifestyle.
Tyler.
Yes, Grace. Who? Oh. Certainly, I'll speak to him. Put him through. Mr. Hughes, what can I do to help you? Yes, I do know him. In fact, he happens to be here. Well, Mr. Hughes, you don't... No, I can't... But... Yes, sir. I can take care of that, yes. Now, you can always count on time. Second thought, I'm not a man without compassion. For the time being, you're free to go, McGraw.
Gee, thanks a lot, Tyler. You're a real sport. Come on, McGinnis. Let's go get some fresh air. McGinnis, will you answer me a question?
If I can.
What the hell is going on around here?
I was waiting for you to tell me.
I've been kidnapped, punched out, jabbed, drugged, stuck with needles. This guy Devereaux's gonna kill me if I don't hand him some lousy tapes. And Hughes, oh, he's a great guy. All he's gonna do is put me in jail for the rest of my life.
Harry.
What else? What?
For what it's worth, I believe in you.
Yeah?
Almost absolutely.
You know what's bugging me? Chapman. I'm up to my nose hairs with this guy. Who the hell is this miserable creep anyway?
Well, whoever he is, he's a very solid citizen. I gave EJ a hand, a complete credit history.
Oh, yeah? Huh. House in L.A., house in Hawaii, condo in Miami, credit line that won't quit, and bank accounts from here all the way to Tijuana. And you know something? It stinks. Okay. Here you got your Hughes and your Eckstein. Over here, you got Devereaux, your Trent, and your Hilga. And in the middle, you got your Chapman.
Let me see if I have this straight. Chapman has certain tapes which incriminate Blake Devereaux in a plutonium black market scheme?
Score one for the kid.
And with these tapes, Hughes and his federal agents could put Devereaux in jail.
Yowza. McGinnis?
Chapman is playing both sides against each other and holding out for the highest bidder.
Right. Now, that's the big picture. Hughes, Devereaux, and in the middle, Walter Chapman. Walter Chapman. Now, what do we know about this guy?
Well, he loves the ballet.
He's loaded.
He's an electronics freak.
Yeah. We're supposed to believe that he could bug the president's bedroom on the off chance that there was something going on in there worth listening to. No, but what do we really know about him? I mean, is he tall and skinny? Is he fat? Is he bald? Does he wear his skivvies to bed? I mean, what does a guy look like?
Nobody at the hotel ever saw him.
That's right. Nobody ever saw him for a very good reason. Because the creep doesn't exist.
Of course he exists. He's got a credit history.
It's a phony. The same as the lousy tapes. The whole thing's a scam. It's a put-up job.
Harry, you are not making any sense.
Wrong, McGinnis. The whole thing is just starting to fall into place. EJ, get the credit card number from those ballet tickets that you traced. I want you to book a room. No, hold it. I want you to book a suite at the Ellison Hotel in the name of Walter Chapman.
But you said he doesn't exist.
He does now, kid. You're looking at him. Beautiful.